show the same things, the same exact trends, that's when you can start to jump on things with a little bit more certainty. But so far out, you've seen these posts, I'm sure, all over social media, 24 inches in downtown Nashville. That's just absurd. That would be record-breaking and just goes completely against everything we know about the climatology of the area. We kind of knew that early on models were kind of over-exaggerating things a little bit. Still looks like, though, it'll be significant. It's just a matter of what areas see that changeover.
Okay, so is it too early to tell right now? Like where do we stand right now?
We stand right now, from what I'm seeing this morning, we're standing more and more into this being more of a snow and a mix kind of situation. So, that's honestly worse than this just being snow. If this was snow and we got, a significant amount of it, snow is snow. When you put ice into the mix, though, the risk of power outages goes up. The snow and sleet become heavier. It's wetter, so it's much harder to move and plow and shovel. So right now, I don't think this is a snow event only. I really do think that we're going to see this probably start as snow, and then a lot of the area is going to change over to sleet and freezing rain and cause a whole mess of problems.
Hey, Stefano, I have a question for you. So after this snow rain event moves through, the temperatures look like they're going to be very cold, and that's not helping things at all.
No, they are going to, plummet is a little of an exaggeration, but we're not going to get above freezing again until maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So if you guys remember, I think it was back in 2023 before Christmas, we had that big snow event, and then everything froze the next couple of days because it got so cold. Same situation. This time around, though, we may already have ice on the ground from freezing rain, and it's not going to go anywhere. Overnight lows Sunday night and Monday night, so Monday and Tuesday morning, we'll wake up in the single digits. Road salt and brine solutions stop working under 20 degrees. So that means that road crews will be fighting a losing battle with temperatures dropping so quickly overnight.
So, how long do you think that people are going to be stuck in their neighborhoods? Because I'm thinking about my neighborhood, and it's going to take a minute. I live in a very hilly neighborhood, of course. So, you're thinking maybe by Wednesday, Thursday, we might see enough of a temperature increase to see some of this melt?
Absolutely. By Wednesday, Thursday, we should get back above freezing. The problem is refreezing overnight. So we'll get back above freezing on Tuesday, but then, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we drop below freezing again. So it will get better the middle of next week and toward the end of next week for sure. But I really think the way things are looking right now, I'd expect impacts to continue into Monday and all the way through Tuesday very easily just because of how cold it's going to be. Road crews are going to have to focus on the interstates, the main roads. Your typical neighborhood roads are going to be, maybe cased in ice here for a couple of days.
Which probably tells you that knowing, for example, in Wilson County and other counties too, but I know Wilson County because that's where Riker is that you've got some of these schools that are further out, and so their roads don't get cleared nearly as quickly as some of the more city-driven roads. And so the kids, they may not go back to school till Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday?
It's very well a possibility. I don't know how the school systems exactly work, but you're exactly right. These school districts, they're so far and widespread, and people come from all over. If we get a major ice storm out of this, you may not go back to school the entire week. And I wouldn't say that that's a complete definite, but we really have to watch the mix, the changeover. I know everybody's hyped up about the snowfall totals, right? We're getting a foot of snow. We're getting 2 feet of snow. That's what a lot of people are posting. If we change over to ice, I'm significantly more concerned about that than I would be a foot of snowfall. I grew up in the Northeast, and I can tell you, and we've seen it down here in the South as too, ice is significantly worse than snow. Snow can be moved. Ice isn't going anywhere.
Do you think that, because you've been around the block, of course, weather-wise, so do you think that Middle Tennessee and, all of our surrounding counties, including Nashville, do you think that they're well prepared for this kind of a weather event?
I really think they're as prepared as they can be because we've gotten a surge of plow trucks recently. I think that we're much more prepared than we were years ago. But I don't know how much anybody can be prepared if this ends up being, more of an icing situation. Like I said, with temperatures dropping so much, and this goes for everywhere, by the way. I mean, this is in the Northeast. This is in Colorado. This is in the Pacific Northwest. Temperatures drop below a certain number, and you start losing the impacts that salt can do on the roadways. And eventually they have to put sand down on the roadways to try to actually get some traction. So it's really going to be tough, and it's going to be a fight for these road crews to try to get things back to a sense of normalcy as we go through the weekend and next week.
Is this going to be heavy snow?
When the snow comes down, yes, it will be heavy.
Because I was telling folks the difference between like snow and heart attack snow. Like, you know that, right, Stefano?
Yes. Yeah, it'll be, so it looked like earlier on when we weren't going to see this changeover, it was going to be a light, fluffy consistency, kind of that powdery. You could just take a leaf blower and probably blow it off your car.
Right.
But now that surge of warmer air looks like it's coming in and we're more focused on a changeover to mixing, that would make the snow that falls much more of a wet and heavy consistency. And listen, I'll tell you this. Regardless of numbers, once you get over 6 inches of snow, and we're not talking exact totals here, but no matter where you are, once you get over 6 inches of snow, there are problems everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing to keep in mind. Numbers are numbers. This is going to be a highly impactful winter weather event for us regardless, so you need to be prepared.
All right, so do you have time to give us just like a regional, okay, north of 40, south of 40, east of 65? Do you have those, sort of early indications?
So it looks like the best chance for the biggest icing concern south of I-40, north of Interstate 40, most likely going to be the area where we'll see more consistent snow, and then along I-40 we'll get snow and change over to that mixing. So right now kind of looks like that's what we're expecting. Heavier snowfall totals north of I-40, along and south of I-40, the snowfall totals drop. Doesn't mean they're not going to be there, but it means that that's because we're focused more on mixing sleet and ice into those areas as well.
All right, thank you. Stefano DiPietro, always great to have you on, and good luck. And I know that you folks are under the gun here, so we'll continue to monitor the weather along with you folks.
It's always a pleasure, guys. If you want to call back the next couple of days, we'll be here.
All right, very good. Thank you. See, Joan, he knew what heavy snow is, heart attack snow.
He gave you a little pause there.
He did.
And it made me think, oh, my gosh, he's going to embarrass him.
And I do enough of that myself, embarrassing
But
myself.
he pulled through. Yes, he pulled through.
There's that.
So as it changes, he keeps us updated. So as it changes, this forecast will continue to change. We're going to stay on top of it.
So if I heard it right, south of I-40
is going to be more icing.
Is going to be more icy, and then north of I-40. So in other words, you know who's really going to be screwed? Murphy Show.
Oh?
You know where he lives now, right?
Yeah. So
Murphy-Lago? It's down...
Frickin' Mount Pleasant.
Is that where okay, so Matt lives in Mount Pleasant now.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be dealing with a lot of ice and all that kind of stuff. So I hope he's got his home studio set up already. Because he literally just moved on, I think, Monday, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So...
Oh, wow. He is out there. I just looked at where that is. I thought I was out there.
No, he's out there. He's very out there. But, he can come in when traffic isn't really all that bad. You know what I mean? Like in the midday?
Yeah.
So to speak. So it sounds like in Mount Juliet, I'm going to get a little bit of, I'm going to get a lot of snow, more icy south of I-40.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Murfreesboro because that's sort of whatever. I guess, yeah, Murfreesboro is south of I-40, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, all right, there you go.
I think I'm going to be home for a while. Wow.
Worst comes to worst, I'll take the four-wheeler in.
Can he come pick me up, Sam?
I don't know if you want... I mean...
I'm just kidding.
If you've ever ridden, at least a few miles in the cold on a four-wheeler with nothing protecting you wind-wise, it's not necessarily the most
I've always
pleasurable
wanted to go with a snowplow. Go on a snowplow.
Wouldn't that be fun?
You ever done that, Joan?
I haven't.
I want to bury somebody's car.
Justin Jones.
Yes.
Let's find Justin Jones' car and bury it in snow.
Well,
I like it.
You know what I think would be even better?
You want to talk about white supremacy? It's all over your car, Justin Jones. I'm kidding. I kid.
Oh,
Here I was about
gosh.
to make an innocent joke about freezing it so it would be trapped in ice.
Listen, Jones over there probably thinking about slashing tires. So,
Well, you know when it gets really cold, it's hard to slash the tires because the the rubber on the tires gets really hard to slash.
2805 actually brings up a great point.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to do if there are power outages and you cannot broadcast from home?
That's a really good
The FCC
question.
will give us a pass because if there's power outages all over the place, there's likely one here.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. We've never had a power outage at the radio station. I've never had.
Well,
I'm not going to
usually
say it.
Backup power, right?
Yeah, we do. We do have backup power
I
here.
wonder
So
if it's rated for what's happening this weekend.
I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. You know, we have been through. I've been here a long time. We've been through these kinds of things before, and it is always not as bad as predicted.
So that's, you know what, I wanted to ask Stefano that question because at first it started out as, oh, the snow. And now we're talking, there's going to be some ice, rain. What are the chances that by the time it gets here, we'll get some wind, a few drops of rain,
Right.
and it's out of here?
Yeah.
Like that happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all that hype.
0181. Is this the ice everyone is protesting? I had an ice joke yesterday. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, yeah.
Ice.
No.
It was people. Pretty soon, liberals will refuse ice in their sodas.
Joan, you missed that great joke
Yeah.
that I said, which is, liberals aren't going to want ice in their sodas because of,
Yeah.
yeah.
I got it. That was perfect, Sam.
Moving
Perfect.
right along.
Yeah.
We didn't do, real quick, what's going on traffic-wise, Joan?
There is a couple of accidents this morning. It's so you've got that accident, the problem that was on 24 in the loop, westbound at Shelby Avenue. The right exit lane is still blocked off this morning while they work on that accident. And then on 24 eastbound in Jolton, there's a crash right just past Whites Creek Pike. That one involving injuries. That one, of course, is also causing a lot of delays. There you go.
All right, very good. 621, Nashville's Morning News, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And Joan, what do we got for the news at 6:30?
Well, it's what everyone's talking about, the forecasting models that are not really sure if it's ice or snow, but either way, says Stefano.
Hazardous travel looks likely.
Yeah, Stefano DiPietro with the details on the winter storm that's headed our way. Coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Glaciers.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis. I want to tell you about my friends at USS United Structural Systems. Now, you know what's going to happen this weekend. We've got rain coming, we've got snow coming, we've got ice coming, and you need to make sure that when all of this moisture is outside, that it's not making its way inside into your basement or crawl space. That is where United Structural Systems comes in, because if you do see some of that rain, moisture, snow, whatever, in your basement or crawl space, that means that you might have a leak. Where is that water coming from? Let me tell you something. This can be an absolute nightmare. It can come from poor drainage, small cracks in your foundation's walls. Maybe you've got a hidden plumbing leak, but you've got to get it fixed, and you've got to get it fixed right away. USS can help you do that. United Structural Systems, they are more than a team of problem solvers. They are your neighbors, and yes, they do care about their customers. I've been a long-time customer of United Structural Systems for years. Find them online at USSTN.com to learn a whole lot more. At USS, we are more than waterproofing. We are committed. We're trustworthy. We are USS. 615-488-7855, USSTN.com. 628 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up, Dustin Kittle, our resident attorney and farmer, going to talk about this controversial bill that would shield pesticide manufacturers from liability. So that is back. We talked about this a year ago, and it is going to be back in front of the state legislature. Going to talk to Dustin Kittle about that. So Sam and I, Joan, are talking behind the scenes here about what our priorities are for the next couple of days. I've realized my priority to make sure that I have in the house as Snowmageddon continues to inch our way and ice apocalypse as well. I'm thinking about probably batteries.
Yeah.
Because everything that keeps a small child occupied these days needs batteries.
Yeah.
So we need batteries, and we need, obviously, the milk and my big thing is always going to be, wait for it, coffee.
Yeah.
So that's my big deal.
They say, I was watching something this morning. They said we need 3 days worth of food to just make sure we're good.
You know, that's why I bought that second refrigerator from DT McCall's, so that I can put food in my refrigerator as well.
You don't have that till later.
In the garage. So anyway.
Also, don't forget first aid. Like, we don't always think about that because it's only like when you really, really, really need it. But this may be one of those times because you're not going to, if something happens, you certainly are not going to catch a quick ambulance ride to the hospital.
Yeah. In a lot of areas, the ambulance is going to struggle to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you got to be self-sufficient, folks, for several days, as a matter of fact. And so we'll obviously, again, continue to monitor the situation. And as we get closer, it becomes more in focus. We'll keep you updated. It is 6:30 on WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And right now we are sitting at 37 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We are expecting some rain today. But of course, we've got a storm headed our way, and a winter storm watch is in effect throughout the area. We'll have the forecast with Stefano coming up. Stick around for that. President Trump has just arrived in Davos, Switzerland, a little later than he had wanted to. An electrical problem on Air Force One forced the plane to return to Joint Base Andrews in Maryland about an hour and 20 minutes after departure. The president reboarded a different plane, and then they set off for Switzerland once again. Again, he has just landed. He took no questions from reporters before he headed into that forum. Well, when President Trump does address the attendees, the eyes of the world will be on him for sure.
Trump's speech today is set to be overshadowed by his push to take over Greenland, which is rattling global financial markets and unnerving U.S. allies.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
Canada's prime minister now urging smaller countries to stand together, warning the old world order is not coming back.
There is a strong tendency for countries to go along to get along, to accommodate, to avoid trouble, to hope that compliance will buy safety. Well, it won't.
Amid threats of a new trade war, the president yesterday downplaying tensions with European leaders.
That is ABC's Lionel Moisey. Well, we will bring you the highlights of the president's speech. It's expected to begin in just about 1 hour. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, everybody, Dan Mandis. New Year's is behind us, but now comes the hard part, sticking to those New Year's resolutions. Now, if you're like most people, you want to lose weight, trim a few inches off your belly and chest, look younger, and feel better in your own skin. But then the but starts creeping in. Yeah, but where do I start? Yeah, but where do I find the time? Yeah, but how much is it going to cost? I think you get the idea. I know that you've said all this before. Every January feels the same. But this year, it doesn't have to, thanks to my friends at Contours. Now, Contours in Cool Springs, they can get you moving in the right direction, and I mean fast. You can get started right now for $99. No contracts, no gimmicks, just a simple guarantee. You're going to lose 2 inches off your waist, or that first visit is absolutely free. I've done it myself. I loved it, and it works. It takes just an hour a week. It is FDA cleared, painless and non-damaging, proven, measurable results. And with the purchase of a package, you get 3 free maintenance visits. That's right, 3 free maintenance visits
a $1,500 value to help you sustain your progress. First 10 callers right now gets that great deal, the $99 special. 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960. Find them online, contoursllc.com. Contours start today. What do you have to lose but inches?
Still very slow this morning on 24 westbound at Shelby Avenue. It's a crash, an earlier crash, and the right lane, the right exit lane is still blocked off. That's causing things to jam up this morning on 24 westbound up to that spot. Also on 40 as it's approaching the 24 merge. Everything there is very jammed up by this accident. You've also got some delays this morning on the eastbound lanes of 24 in Jolton. That's a crash involving injuries at Whites Creek Pike, a crash as well in Woodbine on 24 West before I-440, in Franklin on 65 in the northbound lanes past I-840. Watch out for another crash in that spot. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.637 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in to Nashville's Morning News. Dustin Kittle is joining us on the Newsmaker Hotline. Dustin, of course, you're probably familiar with Dustin at this point. He's been on my show several times. And Dustin, you are an attorney and a farmer, and appreciate you being here on Super Talk. Also, you live, remind me where in Tennessee you live, Dustin?
We live in Santa Fe down in Murray County.
So how bad is, just real quick, how bad is the snow looking for you and your crops and your goats and your sheep and all that?
Oh, it's looking like we're going to get a pretty heavy snow down here, and we've got cattle and horses and sheep, so that's going to be a lot of fun over the weekend.
Okay, well, good luck with that, but we do have some urgent matters right now. So there is a bill that is going to be heard in the Tennessee State Legislature, and basically what it does, and is this basically the same bill that you and I spoke about last year, where it would give pesticide manufacturers liability And so they would be essentially immune from any culpability, even if their pesticides perhaps give people cancer.
That's right. And there are a few very minor adjustments on it, but at the end of the day, what that bill is going to do is take away a citizen who could prove theoretically in a court of law that there's causation between a chemical product and, let's say, for example, they're being diagnosed with cancer. What this bill is going to do is if the EPA has signed off on that product previously, it's going to take away that citizen's right to be able to seek recourse in a court of law before a jury of their peers. And so obviously that's a bedrock principle of this country that we're doing away with. And the best comparison point is probably what we do already with pharmaceutical companies.
So help me understand, what is the law now? Like, what is the policy now? And by the way, is this a state-by-state thing? This is not a federal law. It's a state-by-state policy?
That's correct. And, of course, when this bill came up a year ago, Tennessee was poised to potentially be the first state to pass this immunity bill. It ultimately was tabled until this year. You had a few other states that have passed it, Georgia being one, but the vast majority of states rejected this bill. And, in fact, you had the chemical companies, and we're talking about the Bayers of the world, which was formerly Monsanto. They lobbied our federal legislators to put it in a federal bill, and it was just recently, as I understand it, removed from federal legislation. And so now it's a state-by-state situation, and my full expectation, and I think that this is an absolute shame for the people of the state of Tennessee. I think it's disgraceful what the legislators are doing, but I think that this bill will pass today.
Missouri, Georgia, Iowa have all passed similar legislation. So I guess you and I both know, and people listening know, the MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again. I mean, this seems right along the line of what MAHA would be, which is holding these companies accountable if they have chemicals in their pesticides and so forth that give people cancer. So this, I mean, help me understand. This is decidedly anti-MAHA, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. The original attorney that litigated these cases involving glyphosate was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. In fact, it was his litigation that ultimately, I think, could arguably be said bankrupted Monsanto with Bayer buying them out. This is definitely against everything that MAHA stands for. As you know, we were very close with the Kennedy campaign. This was a point of emphasis for that campaign to not allow these chemical companies to have immunity because, you know, really the only chance we've got as a private citizen is to have our day in court. And what this does is it would take it away. And again, all these chemical companies have to do at that point is to convince the EPA that their product is safe. And I mean, as a private citizen, we've seen over the last 5 years, the federal government at times gets things wrong. And after the fact, we have to go back and hold those companies accountable. And again, when you've got a direct line between an entity like the EPA and these chemical companies, it makes it impossible for the private citizen to be able to have any influence there. And so the hope is you could go before a jury of your peers and get some kind of recourse. And really, this bill is being pushed because the citizens have had success in proving causation that these chemicals do cause cancer.
So let me ask, and by the way, when you said our government has been known to get things wrong, I openly laughed at that because the understatement of the year. So absolutely, I agree with you. Let's talk a little bit about the EPA, because that seems to be where this argument is focused on. So talk about the EPA. I know that, with some of these pharmaceutical companies, you got people that work in the pharmaceutical companies. Then they end up going to work for, the FDA, the federal government. And it's a very incestuous kind of relationship. Is there a reason, I'm going to give you a softball question here, Dustin Kittle. Is there a reason why we should not trust the EPA?
Absolutely. We shouldn't trust any entity really out there that we aren't allowed to influence in some way. when you talk about a representative, at least you can hold them accountable at the ballot box. When you're talking about these companies that could cause harm, at least you could bring suit against them. When you're talking about a federal agency, you've got no power to influence them whatsoever. And as you mentioned, you have so much crossover between these federal entities and these federal agencies and these companies that ultimately they end up becoming one and the same through corporate capture. And, you go back, and Monsanto's the perfect example. And, of course, this is the company really that's at the heart of what this bill is. You go back and you look at litigation. What came out is that the EPA and Monsanto was essentially working together. There is a reason that juries were awarding damages in these cases. This was not a situation where juries were unduly influenced. I mean, Monsanto can go out and hire the best attorneys in the country. They can go out and hire the best experts in the country. If our private citizens are beating them in court, there's a reason for that.
It is coming up on 645. Dustin Kittle joining us here on Super Talk 99.7, attorney and farmer, talking about this bill that, Dustin, you say you expect this to pass, this Tennessee bill shielding pesticide manufacturers from liability. It is back up for vote, I guess, here in the next couple of days. More on this straight ahead, 645. Time to check the roads on WTN.
People couldn't even wait for the snow to start crashing.
Right exit lane at the Shelby Avenue exit. And Franklin on I-65 in the northbound lanes, an accident just past the 840 exit. I'm seeing.
As far as your weather goes, I mean, nobody really cares about today, but breezy in the morning, variable cloudiness, a brief shower or two. But really, all eyes are on Friday and Saturday when the big, heavy snow event, possible ice event also is going to hit. We've got your complete forecast coming up here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dustin, let me ask you this. When you start talking about some of these products that have long been accused of causing people cancer, I mean, you've got the pesticides and all this. So for the people out there that are just listening and they're not sort of mired in the MAHA movement, they don't know all the details on all of this stuff, talk about these various products that are known to or suspected of causing cancer.
Well, it's numerous, as you said, pesticides and herbicides, and glyphosate has become kind of the poster child of it, although there are other chemicals. And what has been found in these other cases is that glyphosate, there is a correlation between exposure to glyphosate, liver and kidney damage, endocrine disruption, certain very specific types of cancer. And again, when you're talking about something like a non-Hodgkin lymphoma, you've got experts that can come in and they can evaluate the exposure level and they can evaluate the specific type of cancer. And essentially, they have earmarked causation in those situations. And again, these cases, we're not talking about these cases having all come in the state of California. That some of the largest verdicts have come in states like Missouri and in states like Georgia and states like Pennsylvania. They had 3 cases at the outset on this for glyphosate to where they were going to be test cases because companies like Bayer and Monsanto, they didn't believe that a jury would ever find that there was causation. They lost all 3 cases. And not only did they lose them, they had hundreds of millions of dollars of punitive damages assessed, and the judges ultimately had to reduce the damages because the juries felt that it was so overwhelming in the evidence that the company needed to be punished for their wrongdoing.
Let me ask you, because there's always going to be another side, and I've heard from and I've seen and listened to commercials and so forth. You know, farmers are saying that they don't want the regulation and they're all for, this ability for the chemical companies not to be held accountable for these chemicals in their products. Is it true that farmers are actually for this legislation? I mean, how does this impact farmers? Because it would seem to me like they're the ones that could be most impacted by this.
It is. The farmers in this, and this is where Bayer and this is where representatives like Rusty Grills, should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. If you've seen some of the billboards over the last year from this Modern Ag Alliance to where you supposedly have farmers that are in favor of this and making this argument that we've got to have these chemicals. Number one, farmers are the number one class of people that are impacted by this. And you're going to take away their ability to pursue any kind of relief down the road. But the other side of this is those billboards were sponsored by the Modern Ag Alliance, essentially pretending to be farmers. When they uncovered the paperwork on it, they found out that that entity was founded by Bayer.
Interesting comment on our text line. Dan, if a product is safe, why do the chemical companies need immunity? I mean, Dana's right. And I guess my question is, okay, so if the state legislature passes this, then the governor can veto it. Is there any kind of an indication as to where Governor Lee would be on this?
You know, I've not heard as to whether he would veto it. There was a lot of hope that the governor in Georgia was going to veto that bill when it passed there. They were one of the first states to pass it. And ultimately, he actually allowed it to go through without entering a veto. When it comes to Bill Lee, and I'll tell you, one of the groups that's really pushing this, and it's what makes it difficult, go and look and see everybody that votes yes for this is probably going to have a campaign donation from the Farm Bureau. And you might say, well, aren't they supporting the farmers? No. Quite frankly, on this, they are not. When you look at it, when you get down to the bottom level of it, what they are doing is what Farm Bureau, unfortunately, has begun doing over the course of the last decade, and that's taken up for Big Ag. You look at the National Convention of Farm Bureau, and you're going to see companies like Bayer that's sponsoring it. And quite frankly, I think that Farm Bureau values those relationships over doing what's best for the farmer. So, you know, it's a situation where our representatives are captured. I'm not sure what Governor Lee will do with it, but my fear is that it will come to pass.
And there is, and I know nothing about farming. I kill cactus. So, you know, but is there alternate chemicals or whatever that farmers can use to spray the crops and all that? Are there other ways to, you know, other products that they can use outside of the Monsantos, et cetera?
Well, there are some other products, but the, you know, kind of the key indicator here is you had a company like Bayer, which when all of these litigation actions were being pursued and they started getting hit with damages, they adjusted the formula of their residential product. And that's the way it should work. That's the free market working. They went before a jury, and a jury told them, you've got this wrong, you're causing harm to people, and they had to go back to the drawing board and make corrections to it so that they wouldn't get sued in the future. All of a sudden, if a bill like this passes, you've created this negative incentive. If you think they're pushing the envelope now, just wait until they can't be sued for it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, again, I think you're going to have situations to where, just like in the pharmaceutical industry, when you have these companies that know that no matter what they put out there, no matter what harm they do, that there's no recourse, again, they're going to push that line as far as they can go, because at the end of the day, those companies are trying to make a profit. And of course, if you're not having to pay out damages when you're causing someone harm, that's going to increase the profit.
And it all comes back to the EPA and the labeling, because what they can say is, look, we had a label on the packaging, right? And so it all goes back to that EPA packaging.
That's exactly right. And then you take something like the vaccine industry. You think the vaccine industry's ever got anything wrong on it? And all they've got to do is get federal government approval to put something out. And then again, it doesn't matter if it kills you. You can't take them to court to hold them accountable. And again, there's nothing that a representative could tell me that could convince me that any private company should get immunity in our courts. And, you know, we've got all these people that all of a sudden they're experts on glyphosate. Listen, I represented some of the top chemical companies in the country, and I'm here to tell you, and I was defending them on cases, and I'm here to tell you this is a mistake. There is a lot that goes on behind the scenes that the people don't know. that ultimately comes to light in discovery in these cases. And that's the only way it's ever found out, and we're about to lose the ability to do that.
So there's no 1754 says the organic argument is just ignorant, which I'm ignorant on farming, sorry. So there's no organic option. I mean, the 1754, I guess, as a farmer, it says, well, there's no other options out there.
Well, I would disagree with that. And of course, if, and this is the fear-mongering aspect of it. You've had Bayer for the last year saying, if we don't get these bills passed, we're going to have to take this product off the market.
Dustin, I hate to interrupt, but I'm running so short on time. Can't these chemical companies come up with an organic version of the chemical-laden products that they have?
Absolutely. They can fill that void. And beyond that, in all of these states where this bill has failed in the past, they've not took the product off the shelves anywhere. It's a threat. It's fear-mongering. They're trying to get ahead. If they get this bill passed, it's more money that's in their pocket. It's less attorney's fees they have to pay. And when they kill somebody, they don't have to pay that $1 billion judgment. Again, it creates completely negative incentives.
I used to have this stuff, Dustin, called Orange Guard. I don't know if you know what that is, but we used to have really bad ants in my house in California. And we had small kids in the house, and we were very cognizant of the chemicals in like the Raid and some of these other things. We found this stuff called Orange Guard, and I mean, it worked like a charm, and it was organic. And so I know that there are options out there with the science that we have these days. There's got to be options out there that are organic or something that is less, deadly than some of these, more poisonous than some of these things that are on the market currently. So, Dustin, I appreciate the call, and you're saying this is more than likely going to pass?
That's my opinion on it, yes. And last year I was part of the effort that helped get it pushed. Yep. This year we've not been able to give the attention to it because we've had some local matters we're working on, but my concern is it is going to pass.
Dustin, as always, thank you for joining us here at Nashville's Morning News, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, 6:55. Joan's got the news at 7. Joan.
Yes, it's Snowmageddon or an ice storm on steroids. What Stefano has to say about the coming winter storm. Also, the lawfare against President Trump is playing out at the Supreme Court today. We'll tell you which case the justices will hear. It's coming up at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you very much. DT McCall's, my friends at DT McCall's, I was mentioning earlier as we all stock up for a Snowmageddon or ice-pocalypse, you got to stock up on food. And just in the last probably couple months, I think it's been, we got a new refrigerator for my garage because when you have a kid in the house, you can never have enough food. So I got that at DT McCall's. I've got a bunch of appliances from DT McCall's. I've been a long-time customer of DT McCall's. If something breaks in my house, first thing I do, I go to dtmccalls.com. You should too. If you need a new appliance, if you need something that plugs in, they've got it. They've always got specials going on to save you money. If you need indoor furniture as well, if you've got a room to fill, go to DT McCall's. They do have 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com. If you buy it, they are going to deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. They've been doing this for over 100 years with a focus on customer service. dtmccalls.com.
morning. It is 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're at 37 degrees and partly cloudy. We're expecting rain today, but the chances of a serious winter storm are increasing for later on this week and through the weekend. And it includes snow, ice, and rain. Channel 4 Stefano DiPietro telling us this winter storm will begin to hit tomorrow night.
So here's what we know for right now. That major winter storm becoming more likely. This is going to be a long duration event, meaning that this will start late Friday evening into Friday night and last all the way through our day on Sunday, potentially. It will be cold enough for both ice and snow across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. And with cold air lingering for so long, road conditions are going to be hazardous for quite a while.
Yeah, we're going to stay on top of the storm as it approaches, so of course keep it here. Now, as for today, we are expecting some of that rain, and Stefano's complete forecast is coming up right after the news. An emergency aboard Air Force One after it took flight to Davos, Switzerland overnight. Now, it was described as a minor electrical problem, and it was discovered about an hour and 20 minutes into that flight. Now, the flight turned around. It landed at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, and then the president and everyone traveling with him boarded another plane and again departed for Switzerland. Now, he is there on the ground, and President Trump will apparently face some stiff opposition to his efforts to acquire Greenland.
Even before the president even touched down here in Switzerland, world leaders, especially those in Europe, were making it very clear they are not on board with the president's plan, his attempts to try to seize control of Greenland. French President Emmanuel Macron sent a very strong message to the United States. On the world stage here in Davos, he said, "We need more stability in the world, but we do prefer respect to bullies."
ABC's Rachel Scott. Now, President Trump will address that forum. We will monitor the speech and bring it to you, the highlights at least, during the show. He is expected to begin speaking in just about a half hour. Something we'll be watching today, the Supreme Court is hearing arguments over President Trump's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell will attend Wednesday's Supreme Court hearing on the Trump administration's attempts to fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook. It marks a rare display of public support from the Fed chair and comes after Powell himself revealed that he's under criminal investigation by the Justice Department over renovation costs at the Fed's headquarters. Powell says that investigation is actually an attempt by the administration to pressure the Fed into lowering interest rates. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Market numbers now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. We may be adding to those steep losses on Wall Street yesterday. The Dow futures right now are down 106, NASDAQ futures minus 60, S&P futures are falling 7. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, there is a problem. It's on 24 westbound in the area of Woodbine. This is just before I-440. A crash takes out the right exit lane. It is very slow this morning on 40, approaching the merge with 24, and then all the way into the loop area this morning. On the west loop on 40 eastbound past I-65 west. That's another scene of a crash. The right shoulder is blocked off. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.707 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Brian Wilson joins us. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing well, Dan, and you?
It is Wednesdays with Wilson, and always appreciate having our friend Brian Wilson on. So one of these super texters, you know, Brian, how much we love the super text line, said that when I said, snowpocalypse or ice-mageddon, they called that cringy. I think that's clever.
No, listen, I'm telling you, we can have a little fun about it, but this could be deadly serious.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at my Apple app, you know, that's where I go to check my forecast. They are now saying on the Apple app, now look, this is early and it could change, and this may be just, you know, one model that looks particularly bad, but the Apple app now says that on Saturday, we can expect in our area in Nashville 23 to 28 inches of snow, followed by Sunday with another 9 to 11. I think that's probably not likely, but I think there is the potential for this storm to be really, really bad. And what I noticed in looking at the American and the European models, they're now coming together. There is agreement in the models, and more agreement than there was. And it does seem that the storm is moving north. And when it moves north, that means that instead of getting a snow, a lot of people, let's say south of I-40, could get a lot of ice. You get a half an inch or an inch of ice, and a lot of people are going to lose power. I mean, this is not a storm to mess around with. Now, look, it's early. We keep watching it, but preparations would not be out of line in this particular case.
Well,
as we get closer.
And Brian, we had Stefano DiPietro on earlier, and the temperatures following the storm are not going to help.
Well, that's the other thing is once you get all this snow and ice in, it's not going away for a while. And you know how we are. God bless us here in Middle Tennessee and the state of Tennessee at large. We're just not very good with this kind of stuff. So it's going to be a mess, and it has the potential to be catastrophic. I think it probably will just be bad, but it could be worse than bad.
Well, yeah, and I mean, where I live in a subdivision, and so we always have the big question every year, okay, what are we going to do if it snows like this? And, you know, there seems to be sometimes a divide amongst communities as far as whether or not we should, you know, for example, pay for somebody to come in and plow all the snow because, you know, if you're in a subdivision like I am, you've got a HOA or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And, a couple of years ago, we all had a big argument about whether or not we should actually pay to have someone come in and plow the snow. And, you have some of the people that are like, I pay my property taxes and all this kind of stuff. And, meantime, there's others that are like, you know what? We just want to get the hell out of the subdivision.
Well, here in Watertown, I don't think we have a snow plow. So I don't know what we're going to do.
All right. Well, so just real quickly, then we'll get on to business because you and I agree on Don Lemon. But what does the Brian Wilson household do to prepare for such a thing?
I think I'm gonna go get gasoline. I have a little Honda generator, and I'm gonna get a lot of gasoline stockpiled for that. Fill up the cars, get everything charged, put water in the bathtub, because look, if you do lose power. I've been through enough of these storms and catastrophic, hurricanes and that kind of stuff to know that when you lose power, you lose the ability to pump water. And when you can't pump water, you can't flush your toilets. You can't do a lot of things. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up the bathtub with water, and I'm gonna go ahead and just do the things that make sense. I don't have a snowblower. I did at one time when I lived in Maryland, but nobody around here has snowblowers. So I mean, it's just going to be shovel it out and try to do the best you can. And thank goodness we have 3 refrigerators in our house. We have one in the house and one in Cabana Wife's garage, and then I have one here in my man cave. So we're just gonna load them up with food and settle in and hope that we still have electricity.
I don't think this is snow blower kind of snow anyway. Stefano DiPietro was saying this is that heart attack snow.
If you get snow and then icy on top of it, it's just a mess. It's just hard to deal with.
All right, I want to play real quickly for you. We're going to talk about Don Lemon, and I just want to play for you what Megyn Kelly had to say about Don Lemon. Listen to this.
You're too stupid to understand the law, but this one also happens to be illegal. You know how it's illegal to harass people or to show up at the abortion clinic? You're not allowed to do that. Well, guess what? That same law also applies to places of worship. There are some very limited, but this is one of them, limits on your First Amendment rights. This is the line beyond which we cannot allow them to cross. I don't care if it takes the National Guard, if it takes all of Pam Bondi's DOJ, if it takes President Trump personally making a visit to this church. I don't care what has to be done, but this is the red line, and they've crossed it.
So that is Megyn Kelly. Clearly she's angry.
My old friend Megyn is correct.
She's absolutely correct. So a couple of things. Number one, you are at the heart a journalist. I mean, I was a news anchor and that kind of thing too, but I mean, you did journalism for so many years. I think what Don Lemon was doing, number one, inserting himself into the story, but two, it was like advocacy journalism.
Yeah, let me just play a little clip. This is a little sense of this. Okay. So he's in the church. He follows these protesters in, and is he observing and reporting what he sees? No, he's opining.
This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, and you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution, when you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry.
See, in my argument would be that he's not being a journalist in this particular case. He's being an activist, and he is just as much a part of the protest as all those people that were out there protesting.
Brian, if I
the anti-ICE people.
Brian, if I may, I believe I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I think that he's actually, you said he's part of the protest. He's more than just a part of it because he is echoing in a very big way their talking points.
Absolutely. And so, look, there's several ways they can go at this. But remember, when I think it was a small group of elderly women who were protesting at an abortion clinic, they got sent away for 40 years.
Yeah.
Then, Don Lemon, I'm telling you, is actually in real trouble here. And the whole thing in Minnesota just continues to devolve. I saw a story where apparently the protesters have a website where they post the ICE vehicles and their license plate numbers, and so that, you can know which ones to harass. And the Fox people found out that their rental car had been put on that list as confirmed ICE. So they went out. I bet you they changed their car out pretty quickly. But imagine the next family who comes into Minnesota at the airport and picks up that rental car. They're going to get harassed as being part of ICE. It's ridiculous how this thing has spiraled out of control. Don Lemon and those protesters have got a serious legal problem.
And here's the thing, Brian, they don't care about the innocent people that they're harassing. That's the frustrating part of all of this. And I would love nothing more than to see Don Lemon thrown in jail because, and these protesters as well. Now, in my heart of hearts, do I believe that they will? Probably not, but I would love to see it.
I don't know. I mean, Pan Bondi apparently showed up in Minnesota yesterday, so, I think it's getting serious.
All right, let's talk real quickly about the drug cartels. Mexico is finally doing something about the drug cartels. We all know that Donald Trump has made them foreign terrorist organizations, and we still have problems, drugs coming across our southern border. But I want to talk a little bit about that because Mexico is finally doing something. We'll talk about that straight ahead. Brian Wilson with us. It is 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. Very good. As far as the weather goes, really, that's all people are talking about. Breezy this morning, variable cloudiness, some rain today, but Friday, Saturday, into Sunday, we're talking about snow. We're talking about ice. Your complete forecast is coming up at 7:30 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So, Brian, the politicians in Mexico, they're always sort of in a tough spot, right? Because in my estimation, it seems to me like the cartels run the country of Mexico. You have mayors that are, killed all the time by the cartels. Talk about this dynamic between the president of Mexico, the government of Mexico, and the cartels.
Yeah, Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, had watched what happened in Venezuela. And one of the great things about Donald Trump is that one of his greatest negotiating tools, and this is true with his negotiations in Greenland as well, is that he's unpredictable. And so Sheinbaum takes a look at what happened in Venezuela, and she does not want that to happen in Mexico. So they have sent 37 cartel members to states in the most recent wave. So they're taking it seriously, and it's about time. Look, I mean, for years and years and years, you're right. The cartels have really controlled Mexico, and the whole system there is very corrupt. But finally, Mexico, having seen what happened in Venezuela, is going, well, we better get serious about this now, and they're doing something about it now. Are these low-level people? Are they still protecting the big guys? I'm just not in a position to know that, but I am glad to see it happen, and Mexico would be wise to keep that up. The thing about Mexico, and it's the same is true as Venezuela. You have tremendous natural resources in both of those countries. I mean, Mexico's got a lot of oil. So does Venezuela. And probably most oil in the whole world is in Venezuela. And why is it that with all that natural resource richness, the country's is just rampant with poverty? The people are getting cheated because the politicians are corrupt. And I think Sheinbaum is an agent for change here. And I'm glad to see this.
Greenland. So there's a lot going on. President Trump, of course, gonna light some fires in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum.
He just arrived in Davos. I saw that. Yeah.
So, the polling on this is interesting. Not that I necessarily believe the polling, but whatever. But the president has received some Republican pushback on his President Trump's commentary or comments on Greenland. He's going to get it one way or another and so forth. And I don't know. What do you think about all this?
He backed off a little bit yesterday in that rambling press conference when he said, when we get to the negotiations, Greenland's going to be happy and we're going to be happy and Denmark's going to be happy. So perhaps it's a negotiation tactic. He's like, it's like buying a new car. You go into a new car dealership and you want a car. You throw out a low number, they throw out a high number, and that he's throwing out worst case scenario. And again, he's unpredictable. Many people look at him and say, I don't know, he might just be crazy enough to invade Greenland. I don't think he's going to do that, but I do see why he wants it and why it's important. And other presidents, this is nothing new. Other presidents have tried to buy Greenland in the past, and they couldn't get a deal done. But listen to this little statistic. The Russian presence in the Arctic. They have 6 Army bases, 10 radar stations, 14 airfields, and 16 deep water ports in the Arctic. So they are moving in that part of the world to control it, and it is strategically important to the United States in a huge way. I think it's a negotiating tactic, and I think that what he wants really is for NATO to step up and do more, and to allow the United States to have more control over the security. We may not have to own it, but we certainly need to have a bigger presence there.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've been saying is, there's no doubt that Europe is weak. I mean, look what they've allowed Europe to become. And I don't personally believe that, Europe or NATO, if the United States, for whatever reason, pulled out, which I don't think we will, because we're not going to leave Greenland, susceptible to an attack or a takeover. But if it was fully up to just Europe and just NATO without the United States, Denmark wouldn't have a chance, and NATO wouldn't have a chance if China or Russia
NATO is nothing without the United States.
Exactly. All right, real quick, Brian, because we're running out of time. Air Force One had to turn around today because I guess they had an electrical problem. That's a little scary.
That's very rare. I probably did about 30 flights on Air Force One, and what you got to know in an international trip is there are 2 what we would call a 747. It's not really a 747, but it looks like one, and one is already pre-deployed to Switzerland, because they send one over in advance in case they get there and they have mechanical problems. They got an extra plane to bring everybody back. They send over Secret Service and a lot of other stuff like that and staff in the first aircraft. So when this one had to turn around, there was not the backup Air Force One, the 747. So we got into a 757, which is often used by the Secretary of State on international trips, or the Vice President, or when they need to go into a smaller airport. And so they've got a plan. I mean, it's nice to, call the Air Force and say, get another jet ready. We got a little problem here. But these planes are 40 years old.
Right.
And, we need to get Air Force One replaced in a big way. A lot of flights lately, the diplomatic flights and presidential flights and what they call executive branch flights, have had technical problems of late. This is not the only one.
Who was it that was supposed to donate a plane to Trump?
It was Qatar, and they did. Yeah, Qatar did it, and now the question is, can they get that thing up and running in short order? Trump wants it ready during his term in office,
right?
But I'm not sure that they can get that thing ready that quickly.
And they have been, because remember, and I know you and I talked about this, Brian, just off the cuff here. They've been trying to get a new Air Force One ready for a long time.
Yeah, they've got one that they've been working on for some time. I don't understand why they can't move that thing forward. But yeah, apparently it's a very exacting process, because you've got to harden these aircraft for, they got to be able to operate in a nuclear environment. They got to have communications. They got to have security. There is a lot of secret stuff on Air Force One that, that some of us have had a chance to see up close and personal. And it just takes a lot of time to kind of put that stuff in and upgrade it. You want the latest and the greatest, because you're going to be using this aircraft for another 40 years.
You ever get worried when you're on Air Force One, or you're like, I am on the most secure aircraft in the world.
I mean, it's a great aircraft. I love flying on Air Force One every time that I had the opportunity to do it, and it is just the best. It is the crew is fantastic. The food is great. It is the Cadillac of aircraft.
Have you? So just real quickly, like 30 seconds. In California, Ronald Reagan's Presidential Museum, they've got his Air Force One. Is that the same one that you flew on?
No. That was retired long before. I only flew on the 747s, the bigger jets.
Didn't they have to raise the ceiling for you, Brian?
No, not at all. It's a very spacious aircraft, and the press cabin is in the back next to the galley, and we had to come down the back stairs whenever we came on or off, and right in front of us was the cabin where they put all the Secret Service agents. So they were never going to. I think they did that just to keep an eye on the press corps, make sure they didn't, wander around.
Sure. All right, Brian, always great to have you on. And this whole segment, of course, brought to us by our friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Brian, good luck during Snowmageddon or Icepocalypse, and we may check in with you on Monday just to see how things are going in Watertown.
Yeah, I'll be around. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be buckled down and trying to stay warm.
All right, Brian, we'll talk to you again soon, 7:26 on WTN. Joan's got the news at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, so what does Stefano have to say about this approaching winter storm?
This is going to be a dangerously impactful winter storm for all of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky.
Yeah, so what exactly makes it so dangerous? That's coming up here at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 7:26. Dan Mandis here, the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I've got to get over there and try this new HydroWave. Now, this is the latest and greatest technology to help you heal. And they've got it at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, the HydroWave. Now, this, along with non-surgical spinal decompression, is the best you'll ever find in healing technology. And right now, they've got a great deal going on at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. That is a great deal for 2026, 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. Call them, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out at 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. You can always find them online. Painisbad.com. So if you've got back or neck pain, which is what I had, they fixed me right up. Sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, you name it, they can fix it at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, 615-246-5009, painisbad.com.
Good morning. It is 7:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. So just how much snow we get from this approaching winter storm depends on which weather forecasting model you believe. Channel 4 Stefano DiPietro telling us that the American model is predicting heavy snowfall starting Friday night all the way through Sunday. But the European model shows this as starting as snow and then warmer air moves in, changing the storm over to very dangerous icing conditions.
That warm nose is what could change some areas over to a wintry and icy mix going through the day on Friday into or Saturday, I should say, and then into Sunday. Notice that the European model changes much more of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky over to that wintry and icy mix for the day Saturday all the way to Sunday morning, then kicks it out of here by Sunday afternoon.
Now, either way, he says we are in for it. Best to get prepared now because the roads may not be good for traveling for a few days. We've got more with Stefano's forecast right after the news. In Bedford County, residents of about 50 homes have now been allowed to return to their homes after a train derailed early yesterday morning. This woman spoke to Channel 4.
So I walked out the front door, and the fire trucks were just right here, and I kind of walked out, and I was like, that was a train derailment. That's what that was.
Yeah, the rail cars there were carrying ethanol, but the investigators have determined within a few hours, too, that there was no immediate threat. CSX is doing the cleanup, but why those cars derailed has not yet been determined. That is the latest news. Your traffic and weather are next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 7:33, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here. Now, if you need to save money on insurance, which, let's be honest, who doesn't? Check out my friends at King and Associates Insurance. So many of my listeners have reached out and let me know that King and Associates Insurance have saved them money. Now, I've been telling you about the one guy that I know. His 16-year-old daughter got into a car accident. She got into a car accident, but they still saved him thousands of dollars when the time came for new insurance. King and Associates Insurance, they are going to weed out the non-competitive companies and find the best options for you, and they are going to keep the communication flawless. Now, what they do at King & Associates, they understand that it's not only relationships with the best companies around, but also bundling home and auto. King & Associates, they are going to fight for the best deal possible for you and your family. Save money, get great insurance with King & Associates Insurance. Call them and tell them Dan told you to reach out at 615-321-8121, 615-321-8121. Find them online anytime, tkinginsurance.com. Dan Mandis here for my friends at Brentwood Jewelry. This is my jewelry store. You know, I forgot to wear my Brentwood Jewelry watch today, so I miss it. I get used to it. You know why? Because I love my watch from Brentwood Jewelry. It was a gift from my wife, and I love it. And you're going to love whatever you buy at Brentwood Jewelry as well. Listen, if you've got a special occasion here in 2026, I mean, we're talking about birthdays and anniversaries and graduations and weddings and so forth. Listen, at Brentwood Jewelry, they've got rings and watches and earrings and money clips and necklaces. You name it, they've got it at Brentwood Jewelry. And by the way, they also have all kinds of great selection and value as well. They've been serving the Brentwood community for over 50 years, and you want to find them online. BrentwoodJewelry.com. This is the official jewelry store of Nashville's Morning News and my home, and it should be yours as well. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. BrentwoodJewelry.com.
Got a problem on the eastbound side of 24 in Joelton. Still there. It's an accident at Whites Creek Pike. They're still working on this morning. Ashland City Highway in Bordeaux. There's a crash right at Eaton's Creek Road. And then one more in Glenview. It's on Murfreesboro Pike at Bradley Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.738, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Running late, want to get right to the Newsmaker Hotline. Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton, is joining us. Of course, illegal immigration always in the news. And Mr. Speaker, it does seem like there is a battle going on, and I don't think it's going to end anytime soon, between Nashville Democrats and Republicans in the State House. Now, last week, you folks introduced 8 bills that target illegal aliens. And as Uncle Phil used to say, it demagnetizes the state of Tennessee. Mr. Speaker, I want to play for you a piece of audio from Mayor Freddie O'Connell, who seemed to have some issues with what you did. Listen.
We're following all these bills very closely.
Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell reiterated Friday that Metro Police will not be involved in enforcing federal immigration laws and that the proposed bills don't reflect Music City.
So far, I would not say the spirit of the bills is anything close to the welcoming and successful city that we think we've built with a wonderful immigrant and refugee population.
Okay, so a couple of things here, Cameron Sexton, I want you to cover. First, though, give me your response to the mayor's thoughts on your bills.
In response, because what we even said at our presser is we want to preserve the legal immigration community. We're not against immigrants. We're against illegal immigrants coming into our country, in our state. And it seems like, based on his statement, he was saying that Nashville is technically a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants, as in that reference, because he referenced the bills with the immigrant community, which means he's welcoming illegal immigrants, first of all. That's how I take what he means, which is against the law, and we're closing the loophole, so we need to look into that. As far as the other stuff, look, what you have is you have Democrats moving way left. They're afraid to take on the liberal, woke, anti-ICE people, socialists in their party, and they're doing everything they can to placate them so they don't become targets. And, you know, in Tennessee, we're not going to stand for that. We're not going to stand for illegals coming into our state, taking public benefits away from people who are here legally and lawfully. We're not going to allow them to drive on our roads. We're not going to allow them to get state and local jobs, and we're going to force the DAs and judges and law enforcement all across our state to enforce and work with ICE.
I want to play a piece of audio. I chuckled at this. I'm going to tell you. This was part of your press conference the other day. Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton, joining us. You said this a few days ago in making the announcement.
I think some of you have reported that Nashville is saying that we're not working with ICE so that we can't be a sanctuary city, but we can house them here.
And one of the things that, as I play that, is that it does seem like Nashville itself is wanting to bring in and be a magnet for illegal immigration. I've got a question for you. So Davidson County does have and correct me if I'm incorrect on this, Davidson County does have a 287G agreement with the federal government. Now, for those that don't know, a 287G is an agreement that allows local police and authorities to assist federal authorities in identifying and detaining illegal aliens. Now, Davidson County has a 287G. From what I understand, the city of Nashville, though, does not. So is this part of, your accusation, if you will, that Nashville is effectively harboring illegal aliens?
Well, what I think is happening is they know they can't be a sanctuary city in our state, but it also means that Metro Police and Davison County are not working with ICE based on their own comments. I'd have to look to see if Davison County's 287G. I was under the assumption, based on what I know, that they weren't, unless they signed recently. But what I will say is they know they have illegals based off the mayor's comments. They know that they're harboring illegals, and they don't want to work with federal officials and state officials. And kind of like with Memphis, look, in Memphis, you had the local law enforcement work with the federal resources, work with state resources. And Memphis is at a 40-year low. The amount of illegals and violent criminals they rounded up in just about 3 months has been astonishing. You have the same issue here in Nashville, and we're not going to sit here and allow that to continue to happen. And one of the interesting comments from that presser is a reporter actually asked, what is this going to cost the state for all these bills? And the response that we had back was, what's the cost to Tennessee taxpayers for these illegals who come in and rape and murder and abuse and steal from us, who get on public benefits, who do what happens in Minnesota or what's happening in California? We're also cracking down on CDLs coming in our state. And so we're going to force law enforcement, whether you're Metro or not, force the judges, whether you're this woke, progressive, liberal judge or not, or these DAs who are potentially progressive, woke, and liberal DAs, to work to do what we need to make sure that if we're in Tennessee, we're going to work with those who are here legally and lawfully. If you're here illegally, you better not come into Tennessee, because you're going to go back to whatever country you came from.
You said something during the presser. I'm going to play this real quick, because I thought the Republicans did a great job of selling what you're trying to pass in the state legislature to fight illegal immigration.
We're committed to protecting taxpayer dollars, reducing fraud, waste, and abuse, and once and for all putting an end to sanctuary cities in our state. We're going to do what we can to make sure that if you're here illegally, we will have the data, we'll have the transparency, and we're not spending taxpayer dollars on you unless you're in jail.
I love that last part, unless you're in jail. I want to delve into that a little bit, and I'm glad you brought up the whole CDL thing, because we're talking about this when the story came out. We have like 8 bills. What was our favorite bill as far as fighting illegal immigration? The CDL one actually was my favorite. So I want to delve into that a little bit, though. We do have some traffic issues, Mr. Speaker, on the road. So real quick, let's check the roads on WTN. As far as weather goes, today breezy this morning, variable cloudiness with a brief shower or two. All eyes on Friday and Saturday, when we've got a combination of a lot of snow, perhaps some ice as well, depending on where you are. Your complete forecast is coming up on WTN. All right, so one of the things that I would ask, do we even know how much we spend on illegal aliens per year in the state of Tennessee?
We have estimates, and so it's not hard data. That's why we're also doing all these reportings and other mechanisms. It's about $940 to $70 million is the estimate that we spend. And the illegal immigrant associations say that they bring in over $300 million in revenue, which is, if that's the case, it's a $700 million hole.
That's insane. And so it is kind of funny or ridiculous maybe for somebody to ask you, how much will implementing these policies cost? It's like, number one,
right.
And I should be doing an interview, not monologuing, but, this is the party. And, if we could just save one life, people, you know what I mean?
Yes.
We just had a guy killed by an illegal alien in Knoxville. He was driving the wrong way on 635. And somebody from Knoxville, I believe, was killed, somebody on a motorcycle. As far as the bills that you folks are introducing, some of these we've talked about here on the show, most as topics over the years. One that I was interested in very much so is the CDLs. Now, we know that illegal alien truck drivers have been a huge issue across the country. House Bill 1706 would not recognize these CDLs issued in places like, for example, California. So in a practical way, though, how will that work? If one of these guys is pulled over in Tennessee, do you impound the truck? Do you fine him? Do you fine the company? What happens?
All the above, and you can sue the company and take their cargo, have that. You know, there's a lot of different ways to go about that, giving law enforcement the tools, making it easier to uncover. It's also with like professional licenses is what we're doing. Like to get a professional license inside the state of Tennessee now, you have to have legal verification, legal status check. If it's coming from a reciprocal state, so let's say if it's a professional license coming into Tennessee where you usually just get it if you already have one, if they don't check legal status, we're checking your legal status. And if you can't prove it, we're not giving you that professional license to come into our state to work. And so CDLs are going to work the same way. We're working with law enforcement on the bill. We have a minimum of $1 million lawsuit if you come in and a person causes an accident and they're an illegal immigrant with a CDL. And so we're looking to crack down on how that's going to work, what that looks like. And in our state, we don't issue licenses to people without checking their legal status. We're cracking down on car registration. There's a loophole where you could be here illegally. You can't get a driver's license, but you can take your car down and get car tags for it. And we're not going to allow that anymore. We're checking legal status at that point as well. And so we have been working closely with the White House, with Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller tweeted out yesterday that Tennessee is the way that you go about handling illegal immigration. We're proud to work with them. The Democrats had a presser yesterday where they talked about abolishing ICE, and they don't welcome Stephen Miller. He doesn't need to come to the state of Tennessee, which is a fascinating thing if you look at the liberal left. An American citizen they won't welcome into their state, but they welcome illegal immigrants who come in from all these other countries, and a lot of them are gang members.
You're absolutely right. Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton, joining us. So you worked with Stephen Miller on all of this to become the model for the country on how states should handle immigration. It comes at such a great time because of what we're seeing in Minnesota. So when you look at what's going on in Minnesota, obviously you've been working on this since before Minnesota became a big story. But how did this whole thing come about? Did you go about wanting to become the model, or it just ended up that way?
No, I mean, it's through conversations. And so we've had multiple conversations with the White House. I visited the White House, visited with Stephen Miller, talked to Stephen Miller and his staff multiple times. We've had groups come together to talk about different policies. We have different ideas on energy, different ideas on crime, different ideas on illegal immigration, meaning those are all the topics that we're discussing that we're going to continue to push forward. Illegal immigration was a big issue because of what happened with President Biden in office and how the borders were run amok. Now with President Trump, he's put a stop to it, but we still have all these people here. And so we worked with them for 6-7 months to come up with things of here's the issues. And then as we were diving in on our side, we found there was a loophole with car tax. And so we added that in. And so we were very aware of what we were doing, and they had an idea of how to do it. And they understand that in the federal government, you can't really accomplish anything because you can't really get a bill passed in Congress. It's very difficult based on how they're working now. And so moving their agenda to the states and allowing us to play the one that's the strength in this relationship and do that in our state is what they wanted to do, and we're proud to work with them. And I think what we have put forth is a very solid plan, common sense plan, you might say. I mean, realistically, who's going to argue that public benefits should not be for those who are here legally and lawfully?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Just your far left. Just your far left. Who says that, state and local jobs should not be for those who are here legally and lawfully, but for people who are illegal? That's how you're going to define the crazy left people, because they're going to come out and oppose it. And if you're opposing this, then you're a crazy left.
All right. So I'm laughing just because this is going to come up for debate. And how insane do you think that's going to be with Justin Jones, who, by the way, if you want a good laugh this morning, Cameron Sexton, go watch Hannity from last night. Justin Jones was on there, really exposed Justin Jones as far as, his inability to debate or even answer questions. But are you concerned about how this debate is going to be on the House floor?
No, the thing that the far left doesn't realize is every time that they Justin Jones, he's a non-serious person, first of all. He uses the same 5 words every time you catch him, and he wants to start baiting you and saying 5 words. I think that's as big as the vocabulary that he may have on how to handle a debate. But barring that, is we know what they're going to do. We know they're going to have protesters. But whenever they do what they do, all they do is solidify the Republican caucus. And we become stronger. So I appreciate everything they're doing to make our caucus stronger, keeping us together as they divide their caucus.
By and large, the last question here, and I always appreciate your time. Do you sense that the Republicans and the conservatives in the state of Tennessee, are they for all 8 bills that you've put forward?
I haven't polled it, but we have not had any pushback from anybody except the far left. Even some Democrats. I mean, look, Democrats had a presser after we announced our policies, and then the Tennessean ran a story. There was not a single quote that I found opposing the bills. There was a quote from the Immigration Association, who prefers illegals to come into our country, that called the bills mean-spirited and so forth, which is what you expect. Yeah. But even the Democrat, there's an article in Upper East Tennessee with the Democrat Party chairman. They just said we're going in and splitting up families, but they never said they could oppose the bills because they understand that that's something that they can't do because they look bad. But your crazy people are going to be opposed to it. And that's how you define how crazy the left is, by how many people are opposed. We look forward to passing this. I think if you polled it, I think it would poll anywhere from 65 to 75% success in our state.
I mean, we polled it here at WTN on the morning show. I don't think we had one person that was against what you folks are doing. And you brought, Cameron Sexton, you brought up such a great point where federally, Congress can't do a thing. I mean, they are literally paralyzed, which means that the work that you're doing in the state legislature is so incredibly important on combating illegal immigration. I thank you very much for joining us here on Nashville's Morning News. Good luck with Snowmageddon.
All right, we'll do it. We'll see how it goes on Crossville. Thank you so much.
All right, see you later. Speak with the House Cameron Sexton. All right, very good. 7:54 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, what do you like better, Snowpocalypse or Ice-Mageddon?
I think I like Snowpocalypse.
You like Snowpocalypse?
Yeah.
But we've got to somehow compare the two.
We can always do a Dan poll.
What's the difference between an Armageddon and an apocalypse? I think that's what it comes down to.
Well, Sam, you're posing the question. What's the answer? See, Sam doesn't even know. He comes up with all these
I didn't come up with the name, man. That was you.
Sam comes up with all these hoity-toity questions, and he doesn't know the answer. By the way, I'm looking forward to Chris Hand coming in and seeing the state of the WTN microphone.
Oh, he's going to love this.
Because I haven't been obsessing over it like all morning long, but for folks that are just joining us and commenting on the YouTube chat and so forth, I came in and I was adjusting the microphone and the thing just broke off the arm, the microphone arm. So I kid you not, the microphone is currently being held up by a like a fruit basket kind of a thing. It's the funniest thing ever. Like millions of dollars this radio station bills, and this is what, and by the way, it's nobody's fault. I mean, it's Sam's fault, actually.
Whoa. I just need you at some point today to look into the microphone and say we're a long way from Kansas, Toto.
Because we were talking earlier about how the basket that the microphone is being held in is akin to the Wicked Witch of the West's basket on her bike.
Well, Dorothy.
Oh, Dorothy. Was it Dorothy? I haven't seen it in years. We all know I have a thing about the Wicked Witch of the West, but we're not going to go back down that conversation.
Gotcha.
Still trying to live that down. Moving right along. All right, got a lot more straight ahead. 7:56. Joan has the news coming up at 8. Joan.
Yeah, President Trump is speaking at Davos at this very moment.
They like to say, well, that's depleted. It's not.
Yeah, he's said a lot about Europe, and there's so much more, too. Also, we're taking a look at how serious this winter storm is that's headed our way. Here's Stefano on that.
A majorly impactful winter weather situation.
We'll have his analysis coming up as well. That's at 8 o'clock here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Listen to Joan using all kinds of audio in the news tease. Wow.
Gosh, it's so exciting.
That is like a major market tease, Joan Jones. All right, very good. Joan is coming up in the news at 8. Dan Mandis here. Mark Spain Real Estate. You can start the year off stress-free. Sell your home with Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer. You are going to save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle. Now, don't worry about the hassle of constant cleanings and making costly repairs. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can receive the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and move when you are ready. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. And listen to what one of their satisfied clients, Andre, had to say. Says, I had an excellent experience working with Mark Spain Real Estate. They were professional, knowledgeable, incredibly responsive as well. They made what could have been a stressful experience seamless and straightforward. Andre says, I highly recommend Mark Spain Real Estate, and I do too. You know, selling your home is one of the biggest financial decisions you are ever going to make. So who you work with matters. They've got over 14,000 five-star reviews. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. 855-299-SOLD. 855-299-SOLD. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Dan Mandis here, Wellness Institute of Nashville. Listen, this is where I went to get my chronic back and neck pain healed when I first got to Nashville many years ago, and they can help you right now. They've got this new piece of equipment. It sounds incredible, the Hydro Wave. So I've got to get down to the Wellness Institute of Nashville and check that out. But, you know, they always get the latest and greatest in technology to help you heal. So right now, they are offering you 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression for the new year. 47% off. So you couple that with the Hydro Wave, and they are really finding new ways to help you heal at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. 615-246-5009 is the phone number. You mentioned my name, you get that great deal. You get that 47% off. 615-246-5009. You can also find them online, painisbad.com. That is painisbad.com.
Good morning, 801. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Rain today, but a winter storm watch in effect for the Nashville area for the weekend. Stefano tells us that we're expecting snow mainly north of I-40 and a mix of snow and ice and rain south of I-40 And it could be a long-lasting storm, too, from Friday night through Sunday. And then the cold weather will settle in, and that'll make road clearing efforts nearly impossible.
Remember, salt and brine solutions become significantly less effective and almost stop working completely at or below 20 degrees.
Stefano says we won't get above freezing until after Tuesday of next week. Keep it here. We're monitoring that storm and the forecast, and we'll bring it all to you as it happens. President Trump is speaking right now before the gathering in Davos, Switzerland.
Perhaps the greatest hoax in history. The Green New Scam, windmills all over the place, destroy your land, destroy your land. Every time that goes around, you lose $1,000. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money.
Yeah, making note, too, that China sells the windmills to other nations, but they have no windmills themselves. The president is hammering Europe for its acceptance of the so-called Green New Scam and for its massive immigration policies that have changed Europe dramatically. Metro Nashville Council considering a $15 million state grant aimed at downtown public safety. The money would be used for new or replacement security cameras, a rescue vehicle, and upgraded emergency response and command capabilities. The public input on surveilling the public using cameras was just what you would expect. It was mixed.
Now, do they solve every crime? No. But they do provide an opportunity for those folks who are victims to get some justice.
The lie of militarized surveillance is that people will behave better because they're being watched. But who is they? And who are those holding the camera?
Now, the city's current armored vehicle is a retrofitted Wonder Bread truck that is nearly 26 years old. They say that needs to be fixed. There's a serious blood shortage across the country right now. Severe winter weather leading to the cancellation of many blood donation events. The American Red Cross and Blood Assurance urging anyone who can roll up their sleeves to donate to do so. By the way, the Red Cross says anyone who does donate blood between now and January 25th will be entered into a drawing for 2 Super Bowl 60 tickets, which includes airfare and pregame activities. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. We are looking at futures markets down this morning, adding to yesterday's losses. Dow futures down 131, NASDAQ futures minus 37, S&P futures minus 4. That's the latest news. Stick around for your traffic and weather. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. some big problems right now. We've got I-440 eastbound in Berry Hill, the off-ramp to southbound I-65. Heavy delays as you exit. Really can't tell the reason for that at the moment. Maybe the traffic center will clue us in on that in the coming forecast here. Also in Madison on I-65 southbound, the Due West Avenue overpass. It's a crash, and it's right stuck in the HOV lane. I-840 northbound Murfreesboro at Jefferson Pike. Watch for a crash there at exit 61. And then in East Nashville, Ellington Parkway southbound at Douglas Avenue, a crash as well. Brentwood 65 northbound, right lane blocked off at Old Hickory Boulevard because of a crash. Glenview, Murfreesboro Pike at Briley Parkway. There's another crash scene in Glenview. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.808 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. So President Trump is speaking at the World Economic Forum amid the push for Greenland. I've got one audio bite here, Joan. I think you're monitoring the president as well.
I am.
This is what he said earlier.
Governments very foolishly followed, turning their backs on everything that makes nations rich and powerful and strong. And there's so much potential in so many nations. The result was record budget and trade deficits and a growing sovereign deficit driven by the largest wave of mass migration in human history. We've never seen anything like it. Quite frankly, many parts of our world are being destroyed before our very eyes, and the leaders don't even understand what's happening.
I know what's happening. You're letting all the Muslims into Europe. Sorry.
And the ones that do understand aren't doing anything about it. Virtually all of the so-called experts predicted my plans to end this failed model would trigger a global recession and runaway inflation. But we have proven them wrong. It's actually just the opposite. In 1 year, our agenda has produced a transformation like America has not seen in over 100 years.
I love that, what Donald Trump basically is doing, Joan, is he's speaking truth to Europe.
Oh, yes.
That's what he's doing. So what are your, you want to, hey, let's pot him up real quick. Let's get a little bit of Donald Trump. He tends to, go on.
Blather.
Yeah. So let's.
But we love it.
Yes, we do. Let's listen a little bit to Donald Trump.
Not fair. But then more importantly, I got NATO to pay 5%, and now they were paying, and now they are paying. So something nobody said was possible. They said we will never go up higher than 2%. But they went to 5%, and now they're paying the 5. They didn't pay the 2, and now they're paying the 5. And they're stronger for it, and they have an excellent, by the way, Secretary General who's possibly in the room.
So Joan,
Mark,
as if you've been listening to this,
Yes,
is it safe to assume a lot of the things that he is saying are things that we've been hearing for a long time on this side of the pond?
Yes. A lot of what he's talking about are financial issues. He was talking about Europe taking in so many Muslims. He didn't say Muslims, but so many immigrants that it's changed the face of Europe.
Sure has.
But he's also talked about how the Europeans and in other places around the world are just constantly trying to go to that Green New Deal model, and it's financially bankrupting so many places because now they can't produce as much energy. And now the prices on things are going up because of it. So he's touting that in the United States, He's cut the windmill production. He's cut the windmill projects. Natural gas prices are down. Gasoline prices are down. So he's touting what he's doing as the model for what Europe should be doing.
Apparently, he's also saying that Denmark is ungrateful.
Yes, he did say that. Yeah.
So,
what if they really contributed besides cheese and custard-filled bread? Just saying. Danishes.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Does it sound to you, Joan, like he's making a true play for Greenland? I mean, they've got to divide on this. Europe is not going to agree to either sell or give Donald Trump Greenland. I don't think that's going to happen. Number one, they don't want to give him a victory. And number two, I think that they don't want to give it up. And so as Brian Wilson talked about, we've spoken with Stephen Bucci and other people on this. I mean, it does make sense. You've got Greenland and you've got NATO. We are the driving force militarily and financially behind NATO. And I don't believe that not that he is saying that he's going to, but if we bailed on NATO, there's no way that they could protect Greenland from the likes of China or Russia. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't, you know what, Joan? I wouldn't even put it past NATO to allow China to start bringing a whole bunch of projects into Greenland. I mean, I wouldn't.
Yes.
It wouldn't surprise me. So Donald Trump is trying to protect American interests. All the U.S. is asking for is a place called
Greenland. He's talking
Greenland.
about Greenland right now.
Bring it up.
Okay.
Defend it on a lease. Number one, legally it's not defensible that way, totally. And number two, psychologically, who the hell wants to defend a license agreement or a lease, which is a large piece of ice in the middle of the ocean where if there is a war, much of the action will take place on that piece of ice. Think of it. Those missiles would be flying right over the center of that piece of ice. All we want from Denmark for national and international security and to keep our very energetic and dangerous potential enemies at bay is this land on which we're going to build the greatest golden dome ever built. We're building a golden dome that's going to, just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us.
People
Canada,
laughing. You hear this?
Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Oh.
What we did for Israel was amazing. But that's nothing compared to what we have planned for the United States, Canada, and the rest of the world. We are going to build a dome like no other. We did it. We did it for Israel. And by the way, I told Bibi, stop taking credit for the dome. That's our technology. That's our stuff. But they had a lot of courage, and they were good fighters, and they did a good job, and we wiped out the Iran nuclear threat like nobody can believe.
All right, so it sounds
Nobody's
like,
ever seen anything like
I'm
it.
just going to be honest. I mean, this is a lot of Donald Trump saying what Donald Trump says.
Yeah.
I love, though, that he calls out, Canada.
Mark Carney.
Mark Carney.
Yeah.
Mark, remember that the next time you make your statement? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I don't like that. Now, I can't tell if people are laughing or if people are sort of like...
Yeah, it's not, the camera's not focused on them.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's a laugh or if people are just sort of like, how dare you? You know what I mean? So, anyway, we got to check the traffic. 8:15, time to check the roads on WTN.
northbound lanes at Jefferson Pike. I'm Sammy Kincaid.
8:15 as far as your weather goes. Today, which nobody really cares about, but it's going to be breezy. We've got some possible rain as well. But do we have a high for today? You didn't even put the high for today on my sheet there,
High
Sam.
of 48 degrees, according to the National Weather Service.
Last night it was going to say 36, so I waited, and then I just didn't add it.
That's all right.
Do your own homework.
Wow.
Damn.
See, President Trump's wearing off on him.
Is that
Getting
what it
rather
is?
bold. Yes.
So what you need to say, Sam, is...
You're very ungrateful, Dan.
Remember that the next time you make your statement, Dan? You know what's funny, Joan? Like, I'm just the kind of host that is like, yeah, I should probably do my own homework. I'll get my own weather. Fine, whatever.
All right.
If you're not going to do it, then I'll do it myself. I'll do it live. Whatever. Moving right along. Hey,
he does make a great point about Canada, though, because it's been joked about many times how, Canada doesn't have to use their military. We know you don't have to use your military. You've got the greatest protection you could ever ask for in the Kevlar vest that is the United States.
Well, and now Canada's doing a bunch of deals with China.
Yes.
You saw that.
Yes.
Who did you send? Somebody sent to me. I don't have it. I get so much stuff, but somebody sent me a video from a Canadian. And he was talking about how, hey, President Trump, when you were talking about buying Canada, you might want to take over Canada now because Mark Carney is selling us to China.
They're broke. And they tax the hell out of their citizens to the point where they have to make these deals to have an influx of cash into the nation.
So now, they're going to be essentially China's getting their grips into Canada, which, by the way, is the exact opposite of what Donald Trump wanted.
Yeah.
So,
and they haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1993. America rules at everything.
Well, okay.
Just throwing that out there.
Didn't they win a World Series? Who won the World Series? Was it the Blue Jays? I think the Blue Jays won the World Series.
Yeah, but we beat them at their own game for almost 40 years at this point.
Yeah, and then they beat us at our own game, which is
they
baseball.
Got one. They got one.
Somebody's got to fact check me. Did the Toronto Blue Jays win the World Series? For the love of, I should know this. Joan, why don't I? Joan, you're the baseball fan.
I'm a Phillies fan.
It was the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. And my give a crap is so busted on
Dodgers.
baseball. Oh, the Dodgers won?
We still win.
How many games?
4-3.
Okay. You know what? It took the Dodgers 7 games to beat the Blue Jays. Come on, man. That should have been 4-0. What it should have been. Whatever. I'm still recovering from breaking the microphone earlier. Hey, do you want to hear what Scott Bessent had to say about Gavin Newsom?
Oh, I just love this.
Have you heard this, Joan?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Scott Bessent. He is in Davos as well. And he is throwing down some thunder.
I think it's very, very ironic that Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris.
I've got to rewind. What did he say? Because this is fun with audio. I've not heard this yet.
He said, "Is Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken?"
Yes.
Sparkle Beach Ken?
The Ken doll.
Yeah.
Barbie doll Ken.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I
okay.
know who Ken is. And the Sparkle Beach, meaning he's got the glow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know who Patrick whatever is.
Patrick Bateman.
I don't know who that
Bates
is.
Motel, serial killer, Psycho,
Oh, my.
American Psycho.
Oh, that's funny. You know what? I believe that Scott Bessent is actually a very funny guy. And he's so like square that when he throws down like that, it's actually really effective. Here's more.
He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros. And the Davos is a perfect place for a man who, when everyone else was on lockdown, when he was having people arrested for going to church, he was having $1,000 a night meals at the French Laundry. And I'm sure the California people won't forget that. And I can tell my message to Governor Newsom is the Trump administration is coming to California. We are going to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse. And I was told he was asked to give a speech on his signature policies, but he's not speaking because what have his economic policies brought? Outward migration from California, a gigantic budget deficit, the largest homeless population in America, and the poor folks in the Palisades who had their homes burned down. He is here hobnobbing with the global elite while his California citizens are still homeless. Shame on him. He is too smug, too self-absorbed, and too economically illiterate to know anything.
Wow.
Damn straight we did.
I didn't know he had that dog in him.
Oh, he does. Wasn't it Scott Bessent that got into a fist fight with Elon Musk? Or was that Stephen Miller?
I think that was Stephen.
Joan, who was that? Was it Stephen Miller or Besson, because Besson got in some fistic. Who did Besson? Besson got in the fisticuffs allegedly with Pulte, Bill Pulte.
That's right.
Yes,
Remember that whole thing?
Yes.
And then it was Stephen Miller who got into it with Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's on one of Chris's promos.
They were like throwing down in the Trump administration.
That's just what I really like about these remarks is every time he's about to hit the quip, he starts to grin uncontrollably.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I respect how he contained himself to not laugh at his own jokes because they were excellent.
4417, Besant is awkward but brilliant.
Yes.
You know what's funny, Joan? People say the same thing about me, but they leave out the brilliant part.
The awkward is
awkward is right there, isn't it?
Right, it just takes precedent.
Hashtag trendsetter, baby. Chris says Canada sucks since 1993.
So
James says it was 1993, the last time a Canadian team has won the World Series. Joe Carter.
Oh, so they haven't won anything that they play in a league with us in since 93 at all.
They may have won like curling.
Oh, the Raptors. No, I think the Raptors did win an NBA championship, but the NBA is irrelevant and it sucks, so no one pays attention to it anyway.
Did you know that Alberta is trying desperately to secede? And they have what's called a significant organized movement to do so.
We will trade Minnesota for Alberta.
Oh, yeah, you can have
Dude,
Minnesota.
Have you ever had Alberta beef?
No.
Oh, my gosh.
So is Alberta obviously is the conservative part.
Yes.
Western Canada,
it's
way
Western,
more
yeah.
conservative than Eastern Canada.
Okay.
Which is funny. All of your big agricultural provinces are over the liberal domination that occurs in Ontario, between Toronto and Montreal and all that. They're very fed up with it. They want to be separate because they get taxed on buying their gasoline on. I have a friend who is a Mountie up there in British Columbia now. He's moved because the taxes were so bad far east. And he pays, I kid you not, as a police officer, 38% of his income goes to taxes.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah. It's insane. That's why, I mean, I don't even have an official segment on it, but from what I understand, in Virginia, Abigail Spanberger, her first day in office.
Oh, my gosh.
And here comes a whole bunch of maybe we'll do it during the Crisscross with Chris Hand because I'm already running late.
Yeah.
But we'll go through some of the liberal insanity that Spanberger, who, by the way, ran as a moderate.
Yeah.
And now
Fooled everyone.
Everybody knew.
I know.
Everybody knew she was lying.
Repealing mandatory minimums for child rape.
Isn't that crazy? That this is what they do? This is what Democrats do. All right, 824 Super Talk, and Joan has the news coming up at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, here we go.
Winter storm watch is in effect across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky.
And so we've got the latest on that storm and how it may affect power and roads all around here. It's coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 824 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. Dr. Jeff Horn. Listen, Dan Mandis here. And I keep seeing over and over again in Dr. Horn's reviews at Vision for Life, and he's got a lot of them. And by and large, they're all positive. And so Dr. Horn's patients are saying, I should have done this sooner. I should not have waited. I couldn't agree more. That was my big thing when I did it, because I was thinking about vision correction surgery for a long time. And then I finally did it when I did some research and I found out about Dr. Horn, met with Dr. Horn, and I found out that every patient is unique. There's no cookie cutter approach. And he did a great job for me. If you look back on all the old YouTube videos, you'll see that I'm wearing my glasses. These days, not so much. Before my lens replacement surgery, I did deal with the constant hassle of glasses and contacts. Reading and driving and working, everything felt harder than it needed to be. And now I can see clearly at every distance, and it has honestly changed my day-to-day life. They can do the same thing for you. Call them, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. That phone number is 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020. Find them online anytime. It is visionforlife.com. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Hey, it's Dan Mandis. You know, I used to have, when I was just a wee little kid, I used to have a dog named Tigger. That's right. And unfortunately, Tigger had a barking problem, and he also had a potty problem. And unfortunately, my Christmas gift of Tigger didn't last very long in the home. There wasn't companies out there that could actually help with the dog's training. Not like today, where we have companies like Ridgeside Canine Nashville. Now, I call these folks the dog whisperers. I know firsthand how important dog training can be. Ridgeside Canine Nashville, they have helped literally thousands of dogs and their owners over the last 25 years solve behavioral issues, and they can help you right now. You don't want to have to get rid of your family pet. They can help your dog's aggression, potty problems, anxiety, or just basic obedience. They can help you and your precious pup with just about anything. Now, they've got a lifetime support guarantee. They are there for you 24/7. Call them today. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-878-0380. 615-878-0380. Find them online. Visit rsk9nash.com. The letter K, the number 9. rsk9nash.com. Ridgeside Canine Nashville, veteran-owned, proven results, and guaranteed for life.
Good morning, 8:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories with a winter storm watch that stretches from midnight Friday through Sunday. It's pretty clear that we're going to have an extended winter storm that will disrupt the Nashville area. But the forecasting models are differing a bit. Here's Stefano on that.
Here's what we're still uncertain about. Exactly how strong the storm system will be and the exact track of it, because that's going to dictate how long and how far north we see a change over to sleet and potential freezing rain.
Now, right now, it looks like more snow to the north of I-40 and more ice to the south of I-40. Keep it here for all the latest. We'll bring it all to you. President Trump is making it clear that the United States wants Greenland. And speaking at Davos, he's laying down the fire.
So we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it. We've never asked for anything else, and we could have kept that piece of land, and we didn't. So they have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember.
The president telling world leaders that he's planning to build a golden dome for the protection of countries in the Western Hemisphere. The president's speech is ongoing. We'll bring you any announcements from that speech. A victory in court for an actor accused of abusing children. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
West Wing actor Timothy Busfield has been released from jail as he awaits trial on child sex abuse allegations. Prosecutors failing to convince a New Mexico judge that Busfield poses an ongoing danger. The judge allowing Busfield to leave the state, but ordering no unsupervised contact with anyone under 18.
The actor claims the boy's parents have a history of fraud. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Now, as the president is speaking in Davos, the markets opened in New York and stocks have rebounded. The Dow Jones Industrials now plus 158, the NASDAQ up 38, the S&P 500 index up 21. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis for my HVAC company, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This is a great company. You know, the other day I just had a thermostat go out. They were in my house within a couple of hours replacing that thermostat. They, as always, did a great job. You know, over the last decade or so, Busy Bee has saved me time, money, and comfort. They can help you as well. Busy Bee is always looking for ways to save you money. Now, on HVAC, this month, January, you can get 0% financing for 18 months, a complimentary UV light with any new unit install, and a free 5-year labor upgrade. That is a $750 value. Listen, what would happen if your heater went out this weekend? You know it's going to be really cold. You've got to make sure that you are maintained, courtesy of the Beehive Club from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Right now, you buy one Beehive membership, you get another one absolutely free for a friend. Check them out online, busybeehvac.com. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com. Your comfort, our mission.
Madison, that crash on 65 South is still there this morning. It's at Due West Avenue. Got a crash in Madison on 65 South before Briley Parkway. The right shoulder is blocked off. South side 40 westbound before Hermitage Avenue. It's a crash in the right shoulder. And 65 North in Brentwood, you've got a crash just past Old Hickory Boulevard South, and it is in the right shoulder as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey everybody, Dan Mandis. New Year's is behind us, but now comes the hard part, sticking to those New Year's resolutions. Now, if you're like most people, you want to lose weight, trim a few inches off your belly and chest, look younger, and feel better in your own skin. But then the yeah but starts creeping in. Yeah, but where do I start? Yeah, but where do I find the time? Yeah, but how much is it going to cost? I think you get the idea. I know that you've said all this before. Every January feels the same. But this year, It doesn't have to, thanks to my friends at Contours. Now, Contours in Cold Springs, they can get you moving in the right direction, and I mean fast. You can get started right now for $99. No contracts, no gimmicks, just a simple guarantee. You're going to lose 2 inches off your waist, or that first visit is absolutely free. I've done it myself. I loved it, and it works. It takes just an hour a week. It is FDA cleared, painless and non-damaging, proven, measurable results, and with the purchase of a package, you get 3 free maintenance visits. That's right, 3 free maintenance visits, a $1,500 value to help you sustain your progress. First 10 callers right now gets that great deal, the $99 special, 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960. Find them online, ContoursLLC.com. Contours start today. What do you have to lose but inches? $8:39, Nashville's Morning News, Super Talk 99.7, WTN. Time for the crisscross handoff with Joan. Mason's here because
Sam cuts out early.
Sam cuts out early.
He goes to class, guys.
Oh, whatever.
Jeez.
He's being indoctrinated.
Yeah,
That's what happens at those.
We all know.
We all know.
I'm not sure that that'll happen to Sam.
He came back the last time with a septum piercing. I told him, take that out.
When he starts dyeing his hair purple,
You know what?
run for the hills.
I seem to recall seeing him with like a little jacket lapel that was like the Chinese flag.
Oh,
that's what I saw.
So, okay, if you're not watching on Super Talk TV, I definitely thought the way Dan was motioning towards his shirt that he was going to say his nipples pierced. I don't know. I definitely thought that.
Okay, so real quickly, Donald Trump has said in front of the World Economic Forum that
he will not take Greenland using military force.
Boo.
So this is him speaking just a little while
We
ago.
never asked for anything, and we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that.
So there you go.
Come on, man.
And it helped. It's funny. It sent the markets like up.
I was going to say,
yeah.
was that timed with the sudden upswing in the markets? Because the markets have been going down.
Right.
You know.
And the futures markets were down all morning long. And then all of a sudden he says this, and now the Dow is up 200 points. So.
What if the president realizes at this point that the world hinges on his every word?
It really does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. But he is still very determined to get Greenland. So whatever he's planning, maybe they're not going to take it by military force, but I think he's got other things planned.
All right. So thank you, Joan.
Joan's back one day, and she's already disappointing us. With the headlines.
It's my goal in life, Chris.
Chris, there are times in your so far very young talk broadcasting career, but there are times when you've got to, and Joan, you know this, when you need to overcome adversity.
Yes.
When you've got to just grit through it, grin and bear it, if you will. So,
and he made a season for that for you today.
So somehow the microphone broke. Yeah. And so it is for people watching on Super Talk TV, the microphone is literally in a fruit basket. So and that's how it's being held up.
I have a couple thoughts. I don't know if I should be more shocked that you broke the microphone or more shocked that you have a fruit basket on the ready, just in case.
Listen, I live with certain rules in life, and one of them is always have a fruit basket at the ready because you just never know.
You never know.
You never know.
This is years of broadcasting, learning the hard way, I'm sure.
Where did you get that fruit basket?
You listen, and only I would have a fruit basket with no fruit. What good is a fruit basket without no fruit? Well, it'll hold up your microphone. It was out there for whatever reason. It was out there, and I don't even know if this is a fruit basket. Basically, the bottom line is, and I don't want to harp on this too much, but I was adjusting the mic. This happened, Chris. I kid you not, mere seconds before I'm supposed to go on the air, and I'm moving the microphone as I do, and it just snapped off. And I'm holding this microphone in my hand, and I'm stunned at what I've managed to do. It broke off of the, I don't know what you call this thing, but it broke right at the
swing arm.
At the swing arm. Oh, look at you.
Here's the thing, and I'll be the first to tell you this, but I'm sure I won't be the last. It's all your fault, Dan.
It's the excessive moving. Yes.
Do you ever see Nomar Garcia-Parra get up to bat?
Yes.
And he would adjust his glove and his elbow pad and his helmet, and then readjust his glove and
Picks
his elbow pad and his helmet.
Yeah, all that thing.
That is Dan before he cracks a mic.
Actually, that's...
And even while you're talking,
yeah,
you do it.
I'm always playing with these things here. I don't know what the screws.
Yep, those are screws. What do you call these? I don't know. Could be anything. So
anyway.
So you broke the mic.
So I broke the mic, and now
And then you had to call the engineering staff.
I didn't call.
Waking them up.
No, I sent an email because I knew that they probably wouldn't check it till like 5 o'clock this afternoon.
And you let them know.
In fairness, no. They got right back to me. I humbly apologized for
breaking the microphone.
Breaking the microphone arm. And they're going to get it fixed, pretty quick.
Okay.
So, kudos to Mike, who's our engineer. We always make cracks about stuff around here. Just to be clear, we absolutely love our chief engineer. He is amazing, Joan.
Yeah.
The thing, do you know what I love about Mike?
What is it?
He's patient.
Thank goodness, because we need a big dose of that.
You need patience when you're dealing with Mandis.
Because, I break things. Although, in fairness, Joan, why is it always this show? Joan broke the TV.
No, I smashed the TV.
Out of anger.
Out of anger. She was so angry.
I was not.
She saw Gavin Newsom was on the TV and she just decided to break it. No. And so she didn't. And so, and now I've broken the mic arm. So you get to, and I don't know how long it'll take to fix it.
Dan, you're going to have to replace the whole thing. I mean, that plastic is broken. Like unless they have an extra one of those laying around.
We're broadcast facility.
Why are we working with plastic in the first place?
Well, these were bought, Mandis ordered these. So these,
no, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Shut up.
Yes, you did. I remember. I was back when I was a producer because we had the overhanging swing arms, and I said you should get the low profile ones. And I said, look, they're $30 on eBay.
Yeah,
they're on Amazon, and you were like, perfect, I'll get those. So I guess it's kind of my fault.
Yeah,
but
there we go.
Full disclosure, but you approved it, and you were the boss. So
and then I told the engineers,
yes.
and they said okay, and that's what they got.
So we need another one of these plastic knobs, and we need to hope that they came with an extra from China.
China.
You think these are made in China? Like everything else?
100%.
Do you know what? If we take over Greenland, we can have these made in America.
That's true.
Because with all of the minerals and all the rare earth minerals and resources there in Greenland, we militarily take over Greenland and we can get those things and we can have this made in America.
I had a lot more hope for that scenario before Joan decided to ruin everyone's day.
Hey, speaking of ruining
and how did I ruin everyone's day?
You spread the news.
You reported the truth, Joan.
I reported the truth.
We're not going to be invading Greenland.
How dare you?
How dare I?
You see Justin Jones on Hannity last night?
Yes.
So this is, Justin Jones, Sean Hannity. And Hannity, he's got all these names of people that have been killed by illegal aliens. And clearly Justin Jones, he was asked one question. Can you name one person in Tennessee that has been killed by an illegal alien?
Yeah, the list was all Tennesseans that have been harmed by illegal aliens.
And Justin Jones had nothing.
And babies
so
and
my
cars,
question
that's what
remains,
ICE is doing.
Can you name a single victim of crime in your state by illegal immigrants, yes or no?
I can name the people who are being criminalized by this administration and mass agents who are kidnapping
Can you
people in our
name
community.
I find Justin Jones, like, his mind is infantile. His behavior is infantile. He's like a what grade level would you say he's at when he gets into this?
Fifth.
About fifth grade,
Yep.
Joan? About fifth grade?
I was actually thinking, yes, fifth or sixth.
Okay, fifth grade.
So he brought up the baby, right, that was gassed by ICE. Do you know that it's been completely debunked? That
Yes.
the parents left the kids in the car to go protest?
That's why, do you know what? I rarely,
They did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can they be arrested?
They should be.
They should be.
Along with that crazy lady who was like on the front lines with her baby and the little baby
Yes.
Bjorn. Like,
Yes.
Get out of here.
Baby Bjorn?
Yeah, it's a little carrying device that you.
So, but
you laugh at me, but the parents out there know.
Do you know what the best part about this whole
State representative.
You want to go through a list? Go through the list.
And at some point, Justin
Bring
Jones
out
brings up trafficking, like baby trafficking and kids trafficking and all that, because like talking about how Donald Trump is, trafficking and all that. It's like, would you like to talk about the trafficking that happened under the Joe Biden administration? You want to talk about sex trafficking and children trafficking that happened under Biden? We're still finding kids.
Hundreds of thousands of children went missing. We became the sex trafficking capital of the entire planet under the Biden administration. And he gets on there and he yells and he screams. By the way, Hannity should have pivoted and be like, well, what about your guys ignoring the subpoena?
Yeah, Bill Clinton. Why were there so many pictures of Bill Clinton with Jeffrey Epstein?
Why did he have a painting of you in the blue dress, the Monica dress?
It's exactly
in his
right.
Home in Manhattan.
Do you know what the best part of the whole Justin Jones thing is? I'm going to have to describe this for radio folks, but if you're watching on Super Talk TV, did you see where he holds up the photograph of ICE agents?
Yes.
And it's like it's black and white, and you can barely tell what it is on television because it's like he printed it off of a computer printer or something. And it's like, as I said earlier, you could go to like Kinko's and just have something made, a little more professional looking.
It's like he pumped it into ChatGPT and said, make this photo scary.
Which is silly because it's not scary. You can't even tell what they are. But I mean, apparently these are like, if you look really closely, it's ICE agents in masks. And he's like, yeah, and they look like this, talking about the ICE agents. And it's like, yeah, they should look like that because they're being doxxed and they're being attacked by people like you.
Getting ice water bottles thrown at them.
Yeah.
And then the people freak out about this. It's like, have you ever seen a SWAT team in action?
Oh.
It looks pretty similar, does it not?
The funny thing is, and because you grew up in Canada, so you can pack those snowballs. I'm just kidding.
You put a little water on them, eh?
You could pack those snowballs and they could be like a baseball.
They really can.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not a joke. That's real.
Hashtag not a joke.
Not a joke.
You ever get hit in the face? When I was a kid and I was in Colorado, I got hit. We lived in Colorado for like 6 months. And I got hit with a snowball by my uncle. And it got me like right under my eye. So my
some uncle.
He was trying to be like fun uncle and have a snowball fight.
Yeah.
He packs this thing like so tight like a baseball and he threw it at me. It gets me right under the eye. We went home and she gave her brother what for? Oh my Lord. She's yelling at me, go to your room. And then she starts yelling at him, and I'm like, what did I do? I'm the victim here, and I'm getting sent to my room. I was like 10.
Can we at least stop the bleeding first, Mom? Can we?
I need that pack of peas to put it, whatever. Anyway, so I think Justin, he's just whatever. I mean, the dude, he's got these talking points, and he can't deviate from them.
The Democrats in Tennessee don't even like him. They absolutely abhor him.
Do they?
Yes. Just.
I know that there's a thing between Justin Jones and Justin Pearson.
From the Democrats that I've bumped into, they never have a nice thing to say about him.
Well, do you know what? I think he dumbs down. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think that he dumbs down the party. Like, I think that Justin Jones dumbs down the party because he can't have an actual conversation. Like, for example, with Sean Hannity. And I said earlier in the show, he doesn't have the balls to come on WTN. Because honestly, when you compare us to, Sean Hannity, he's not going to get nearly the clicks or the follows by being on WTN that he would on Hannity's show. So he's getting a lot more follows and all that. But I don't think he has the courage to come on this station.
No, and it's bad when it's like you put him up against other Democrats, and it's like, wow. A guy like Eric Swalwell would have done such a better job.
Yeah.
Like, the bar is so low with Justin Jones.
Real quickly, Abigail Spanberger is out there talking about, because she's, like, I guess yesterday was her first official day as governor for the state of Virginia. She ran as a moderate, and now everybody's shocked that she wants to do
a new 4.3 sales tax on Uber Eats and Amazon deliveries, a new sales tax on admissions to a wide variety of businesses, creating 2 new higher tax brackets of 8% and 10% on people making over $600,000, a new 10% tax bracket for anyone making over $1 million, 3.8% investment tax on top of state income taxes, raising the hotel tax, new personal property tax on landscaping equipment, ban on gas-powered leaf blowers, guaranteeing illegal aliens get free education, making it illegal to approach somebody at an abortion clinic, extend the time absentee ballots can be received after Election Day to 3 days, allow people to cast their votes electronically through the internet, expand ranked choice voting, extend the deadline for ballot curing to 1 week after Election Day, redact the addresses of political candidates from FOIAs, add Virginia to the National Popular Vote Compact for presidential electors, make it illegal to hand count ballots, $500 sales tax on firearm suppressors, assault weapons, and large capacity magazine ban.
So I think because we're running out of time.
11% sales tax on all firearms and ammunition. Prohibit outdoor shooting of a firearm on land less than 5 acres. Lower the criminal penalties for robbery. Ban the arrest of illegal aliens in courthouses. Remove mandatory minimum sentences, including sex offenders. Allow localities to install speed cameras and replace Columbus Day with Indigenous People Day.
That's insane.
How dare you?
Now that's what I call Democrats, Volume 4.
Perfectly moderate. Now, all these Democrats out there that use Uber Eats and all that kind of stuff, you know what? You get what you pay for.
You also had the lieutenant governor of Virginia being sworn in on a Koran for the first time. And then over in New Jersey, I believe it was Mikey Sherrill, the new governor there, she decided she's not going to be sworn in on any religious literature. She needed the New Jersey Constitution.
All right, it is 8:54, and Joan, real quickly, what you got in news?
We have the latest on the winter storm that's headed our way, and also President Trump putting to rest all those rumors that he's going to deploy troops to Greenland. Those stories coming up at 9 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here for Xfinity and their 5-year price guarantee gold medal celebration. When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity cannot guarantee that, what they can guarantee is something just as important, that your internet price won't change for 5 years. That's right. No price change for 5 years. No contracts, no commitments either. So while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting with coaches, your Xfinity internet price is not going to budge. And who knows? By the time the next Olympic Winter Games rolls around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform. And guess what? You'll still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi for 5 years. Check them out today. To get started, call 1-800-XFINITY. That's 1-800-XFINITY. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary. Find them online, xfinity.com, or drop into a store today. $8:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Listen, it's going to be really cold here in the next couple of days with Snowmageddon coming and the whole ice issues as well. And so you need to make sure that the cold air is not coming into your home via your windows. Now, that's why I got Window Nation, because in the middle of the wintertime, it was really cold in my house because we had those old windows. So you want to get new windows from my friends at Window Nation. Keep that warm air in and the cold air out. Now, right now, Window Nation has a great deal. It's Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows Free sale. It is going on right now. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free. The sale is going on right now. You can also get them with 0 money down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Window Nation. They've got a 96% customer satisfaction rating and over 45,000 5-star reviews. Don't forget the great deal. Buy 4, get 4 windows free. 0 money down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION, Window Nation.